it is situated very well in our chase towards the chase for the championship, but this season it sits as the last race of the first half of the regular season. Good evening, everybody, and welcome here as we get ready, getting a little tongue-tied there, get ready to go racing here, dirt track racing at the Springfield Mile. And as I stated, yes indeed, this is the final race of the first half of the regular season. Next week we head to Charlotte for All-Star Race Weekend. So that means that this is the final opportunity for these Hersheys Cup Series drivers to race their way into said All-Star Race with a points-paying win. A lot of drivers in this field are already locked in with wins from last year after last year's All-Star Race, or wins from this year, but still a lot of opportunities for drivers to be able to do it. And, you know, we come here to a track like Springfield. You know, we go to a lot of other different dirt tracks in the past, like Oswego, DuQuoin, Bristol Dirt, which is on the schedule later on this year. But, you know, to me, the dirt tracks, even though they definitely aren't, they kind of almost seem to me like a super speedway. To me, everyone's on a level playing field. You see a lot of surprise winners, drivers you wouldn't normally expect going to victory lane. It really comes down to position at this type of a racetrack, and if you've got a good enough car able to hold it down in the bottom and keep that momentum going off of the corner, whether it be out of turn 2 or turn 4. So we'll see if we get a surprise winner here today. This being our 8th race, we've had 7 races so far, 7 different winners. Will we see an 8th one here today? If we do, that would mean that going into the All-Star Race Weekend, that 50% of our playoff grid would be filled with previous race winners. On the pole position is Dallas McIntosh. He's looking for his first win of the season. Last win, the Daytona 500 back in Season 6. Alongside of him, that's going to be Cody Smart in the number 12. Smart trying to become the first young motorsports driver to go to victory lane this season, plus trying to get his first career win in Hersheys Cup Series competition. Then you got a couple of drivers behind them that have finished runner-up this season but not found victory lane. Emmanuel Hartnett finished second to John Arndt back at Dover. Daniel Guilbert finished second to J Shelton back at Memphis. So both of them want to finish one position better than that and go to victory lane for the first time this season. For Hartnett, it'd be the first time in a few seasons. Same for Guilbert. Gilbert hasn't won since season 5.
Drivers, start your engine!
As there's command, and Hartnett hasn't won since season 4. So as the pace car will lead them around this mile dirt track, let's give you your top 10. The point stands coming into this race presented by Blame Shelley Insurance. Now, he still holds the points lead, but it got cut into a little bit last week. Joseph Srigley now only 22 points in hand over second in the standings, rookie points leader Scott Roush. Kyle Matthews currently in 3rd. Dylan Poteet dropped to 4th. John Cittadino now up to 5th. Jake Baskinger, after his win last week in Kentucky, is now up to 6th. 7th is Anthony McCrury. Tim Walch currently in 8th. 9th place is Trent Dunham. And Seth Cole, who starts 5th here today, completes your top 10. 4 of our previous race winners inside the top 10. The other 3 that are outside the top 10. John Arndt, our Dover winner, is 15th. Jessica Shelton, our Memphis winner, 18th. And Levi McIntyre, our winner from Phoenix, is 21st. All of them still in the top 30 in points. So right now, their wins would all count towards spots in this season's playoffs. 50 laps of racing here tonight at the Springfield Mile. Our truck race was a bit of a wreck fest. Caution came out, I think it was 3 or 4 times during that event. So we'll see what happens here in tonight's race from Springfield. Ready to go dirt track racing. And the green flag is out. Let's roll. McIntosh will shoot out to the lead. Smart will slot into second. Hartnett trying to take that spot, though, as he's on the bottom. And Dylan Poteet, who's had good finishes in the last 2 races at Dover and Kentucky, he's going to try and go 3 wide now for 3rd place as he's up the inside line. Looks like he's going to kill 3 birds with 1 stone, and he'll move into 2nd position. Still 3 wide back here for 3rd. Hartnett, Gilbert, and now Smart way up the track losing spots. Kyle Keith now with Shane Lake trying to move to 3rd and 4th. One of our former winners right there. You can see him topside, the pinkish and white 48. Ooh, they were almost 4 wide there. That was close. Gilbert thought going up the middle. But you got Cody Llamas back there, one of our former winners. We've gone to this track 5 seasons in a row, ever since season... Wow, that was the one of Trent Dunham way down there. Oh, I don't like the way they're racing back here. Gracious. Let's keep an eye on this. They're 4 wide up here. Ooh, keep it together. They did. Wow, Walsh, Roush Hartnett and McCloud not giving me a chance to finish my statement, but we've been here since season 2. Only one of our former winners is not in this field, that being the inaugural winner of this race back in season 2, William Brock. If I remember correctly, he drove the 15 car, which we're looking at right now here, our Daytona 500 winner, Tim Walsh, who is now up to 8th. And we had a lead change. D Poteet got around McIntosh for the lead. But our other previous race winners are in this event. Looking at one of them right there, Dylan Young in the 2. He took the checkered flag here back in season 5. Mentioned K Llamas, he won here in season 4. Season 3, it was Benjamin Miles. And our defending winner picked up his first career win of his Hersheys Cup Series career last year. That is R Reynolds. Caution is out for the first time tonight. Amazingly, they were able to complete 5 laps before the yellow flag waves. But D Poteet leads us here under our first caution. Good racing all the way through the field. There were a couple of times I thought they were going to wreck because there were 4-wide situations, and we saw, 2 or 3 4-wide situations in the truck race last night where it ended up being a wreck. There's one of the drivers we were just talking about, a former winner from this race. Back in season 3, Benjamin Miles, way at the back here, but he doesn't appear to have any damage. Neither do really any of the other drivers back here. K Shearer, Anthony McCrury, Zachary Fitzwater, Joseph Srigley, they all look okay. Oh, there's the car that must have been involved in the wreck. Joshua Osborne, a lot of damage on his car, and rear-end damage on the defending winner, R Reynolds. And you got some drivers coming to pit road, some drivers staying out. We know for certain they cannot make it the scheduled distance without coming to pit road at least once. And I don't think anybody up in the top 5 came to pit road. Oh, yes, they did. Yeah, Poteet and McIntosh both came to pit road from first and second. That turns the lead over to Daniel Guilbert, who's looking for his first win since Indianapolis back in season 5. And you got Cittadino, Young, Lake, and Roush will be your top 5. Looks like when we go back green. For now, let's see what happened to Joshua Osborne and R Reynolds for our first caution of the day, or night, I should say, here at Springfield. Well, this might be kind of hard to see with the dust that's kicked up around this track, but it looked like for a brief moment they might have been 5 wide. Osborne up on the top side there. We're looking at the 97 of R Reynolds, though. And Reynolds just kind of got forced up the track by Keith Batson, and I think he gets hooked by Chris Dodd in the right rear. And up in front of the 27 of Joshua Osborne, who had nowhere to go. And, oh, right there's the shot into the back of the 27 and into the side, courtesy of Jordan Lopez, the 79. So 2 of the K Shearer Racing Tech Toyotas involved in this one, along with the rookie Joshua Osborne. That's probably going to be some pretty significant right front damage on the 79 of Lopez. Reynolds, the defending winner of this race, and Joshua Osborne looking for his second career Hersheys Cup Series victory. So basically a 3-car incident. Out of turn 4, coming to the start-finish line, puts us under the caution for the first time here tonight. Let's go back for the restart. Haven't gotten the 1 to green signal yet. We'll probably get it here as the field will cross the line, completing lap 7. And yes, we will go back green on the completion of lap 8 onto lap number 9. Now, after the incident, we do not have any drivers out of the race, but it is kind of interesting that the pole sitter Dallas McIntosh spent a very long time on pit road. And we'll be restarting back in the 42nd position. Hartnett was up there near the front, as was Seth Cole, Tim Walsh. They're all starting way at the rear of the field. D Poteet, who came into pit road from the lead, going to restart in 34th. The thing that surprised me the most is they're restarting behind drivers that were involved in that wreck, like Reynolds, Osborne, and Lopez. However, I'm just being told that those 3 drivers actually stayed out, did not come to pit road, which is kind of surprising. So Daniel Guilbert will be the race leader when we go back green. John Cittadino looking for his second career win and second win of the season. He's second place. That's a lot of seconds. Then you got Dylan Young. He's in 3rd. 4th is Shane Lake. 5th is Scott Roush. Benny Watson up there in 6th. Jordan Anderson 7th. Jessica Shelton, Kyle Keith, and K Llamas will complete the top 10. As we get ready to go back green here on lap number 9, should give us a total of 42 laps still remaining here tonight at Springfield. And bear in mind, a number of these drivers did not come to pit road. They'll have to pit at some point before the checkered flag. Well, Guilbert was ready, Young was ready, Cittadino seemed to be napping. Dylan Young with a big run there gets second place, and now he's got his sights set on Daniel Guilbert for the race lead. Remember, Dylan Young last year had 2 early wins in the season. but was outside the top 30 in points, was ineligible for a playoff position. And he is a former winner at this track, because I think the caution may be out again. And indeed it is. So what was looking like was going to be a good battle here between the 4 and the 2. We'll have to wait for yet another restart. And let's see who was involved in this one. It was the former champion Chris Dodd in the 8. Trent Dunham also involved. The whole right front ripped off of that Dodge. Look at that. You can just see the entire right front wheel, and he's out of the race. Got to assume maybe Chris Dodd might have gotten turned and Trent maybe clobbered him. Keith Batson's back here. It's hard to see through the dust to see if he might have damage or not. Doesn't look like any of these guys back here have damage. Oh yeah, there is a lot of damage on the 39. You can see there. He's got damage on the right front as well. A lot of damage on the front of his race car as well. You can see a buckle above the left front wheel well. Also looks like some left side damage on that 39 car, and he's going to come to pit road. So as the caution is out, and it looked like Daniel Guilbert came to the pit lane, so a lot of drivers with varying fuel strategies here. The lead will be inherited now by the deuce of Dylan Young. Let's see what brought out this caution, though, for the second time here tonight at the Springfield Mile. Watch left side of your screen, the 7 of Johnny Gardner there. Keith Batson's going to try and get to his inside. Chris Dodd's also going to try and get to the inside. And I think the 8 might have gotten the 39 in the left recorder panel. Shot him forward a little more than he wanted to. Got him into Johnny Gardner. And then the 8 car. Boy, the 8 car just carried way too much speed into the corner, I think. And you'll see right there, there's where Keith Batson's going to get the wall. So he also had right side damage. And then I think the 1 of Trent Dunham's going to come into view here very shortly. And I think he might get the rear of Chris Dodd's machine. Right here. Yep, right there. Just rips the whole right front off that race car. You can see it sitting there up near the outside wall. It's a lot of damage there to that 1 car, and they've already taken him behind the wall. So a tough break for Trent, who came into this race 9th in the point standings. Former champion from Season 5 getting into the former champion from Season 2. And Keith Batson collected as well. That brings out the caution for the second time tonight. Let's go back now for the restart. Now, lights are still on atop the pace car as we continue pacing here at the Springfield Mile. But as we mentioned, Trent Dunham out of the race. He's the only driver at this point that has called it quits in this event. We haven't even reached halfway. Chris Dodd spent a long time on pit road. He has returned back to the track, but he is 2 laps down, which means that he will be on the inside line for these leaders to have to try and get around when we do get the 1 to green signal. Number of drivers hit pit road there under that caution. And I believe it was only the... Well, actually, nope, never mind. I was going to say Daniel Guilbert. Well, hang on. Yeah, Gilbert's being scored in 5th, and he did come to pit road, so something tells me the top 4 were the only ones who stayed out under that yellow flag. Maybe not, because I do see a number of other drivers that were at the rear that moved their way to the front. May have only gone with a fuel-only stop or something, perhaps. Tim Walsh up there in 7th, Dougie Shears in 8th, and Emmanuel Hartnett 9th, and they were at the rear of the field on the last restart. So we'll set it up for you. Dylan Young, the leader. Cittadino in 2nd. Roush up there in 3rd. Trying to get his first career win in the Hersheys Cup Series, but also, I think, trying to take the points lead over heading into the second half of the regular season. Because remember, he's only 22 points behind Srigley, who we haven't seen at the front yet. Shelton up there in 4th. Guilbert 5th. Then it's Lake, Walsh, Shears, Hartnett, and Keith. Right now, we've got 2 former winners in the top 5. Cittadino and Shelton. Remember, they could lock themselves up a playoff spot for sure if they can go to victory lane for a second time this season. Green flag back in the air. Dylan Young was ready, and he is gone. Top 3 at least will clear the slow machine of Chris Dodd's number 8. We may have a battle here for 2nd. Ooh, we had almost a wreck for 2nd between Roush and Cittadino. Fall back here to the 8, make sure they're getting around him safely. Chris Dodd putting the toughest spot on the racetrack right in the middle. Tim Walsh gets by him. Last week's winner, Jake Baskinger, now trying to do the same. Hartnett trying to go around the outside. He almost got into Daniel Guilbert right there. Looks like they're doing a pretty good job getting around Chris Dodd. Chris Dodd just has to hold his line and hope that they go where he isn't. Battle for second continues. Cittadino already has his first career win. Roush wants his though. Toyota versus Camaro as a Ford leads this race. J Shelton hoping that this battle continues as she starts to close in on them. Running now in the fourth spot as Roush clears for second. Cittadino back to third. Shelton now going to lose a spot to Cody Smart. He'll move into the fourth position, move Shelton back to fifth. Cody Smart started outside of the front row, back up here in the top five after fading back in the early stages. Smart, a three-time winner of the Hersheys Cup Series non-charter system, but has not yet gotten a charter victory. And I believe this is his third full-time season. Car leaving pit road, Charles Sanford in the 0-3. That's going to put him at least one lap down. Not certain why he had to come to pit road. Another car that also was on pit lane, that was K Batson, who obviously is making multiple repairs to his race car after getting involved in our last caution. Roush trying to run down Dylan Young, but right now Dylan Young's setting a blistering pace as he just gained another 2/10. Almost 9/10 of a second in hand, back to second place, which again is under contest, and Cittadino will take the position. Meanwhile, further back, got a battle for the 6th spot. That's Tim Walsh in the 15, Kyle Keith the 29. Two drivers running very well in the point standings. Walsh 8th, Keith 12th. Walsh already with a win this season in the 500. Keith looking for what would be his second career Hersheys Cup Series victory, as he had a win back, I think it was in season 1 in Hersheys Cup Series competition. J McCloud just made his way around last week's winner Jake Baskinger, so move him up to the 8th position. Baskinger back to 9th, and right now completing their top 10 is the Ford of Daniel Voyles, three-time winner last year, looking for his first win this season. Actually, hold on, no. Or did the scoring just not update itself? Yeah, scoring didn't update itself. Okay, it was scoring Sean Galligan in 10th, but they hadn't crossed the line yet. Benjamin Miles now moving to 11th as he gets by Galligan. So Galligan will move back to 12th, now under fire from Cole Baker. And I guess that contact that Jordan Lopez had with R Reynolds and who was the other driver? It was R Reynolds and somebody else. Just really didn't affect him that much because right now he's running solidly in the 14th position. But look at Hartnett. Wow! Emmanuel Hartnett driving it in deep. Two of Emmanuel Hartnett's 4 career wins in the Hersheys Cup Series have come at dirt tracks. He's won at DuQuoin and he's won at Eldora. He's wanting to add Springfield to his resume. Best battle is going on here for second, and this battle raging for 5th, because Dylan Young is long gone in the 2 car. But bear in mind, he hasn't come to pit road, I don't think, since the first caution. So he's going to be a little bit shorter on fuel than most of these other drivers, as McCloud now moves into the top 5 in the 5th position. He's got a very fast race car under him. So does Cody Smart. Got around Scott Roush for 3rd, now around Cittadino for 2nd. Ooh, got a little loose there in the entry of the corner, though. That opens up the door for Cittadino to try and battle back. This is going on nearly 2 seconds behind the race leader, Dylan Young. Dylan Young having a somewhat decent start to the year. 19th in the standings coming to this race, and that's the last thing he wanted to see. The caution flag is out for the 3rd time here tonight. Dylan Young had a huge lead, and I'm certain he was the last person in the field that wanted to see the yellow. That's going to bring that whole field to his back door once again. Nice long green flag run in there, and now it'll be interesting to see if anyone rolls the dice for staying out. I would assume probably everyone's going to come to pit road under this caution. Dylan Young, the pit road is open. He's on pit road. Cittadino's in, and I don't think there's a single solitary soul that's going to stay out. Everybody is coming to pit road. Let's drop to the back of the pack here, see if we can find who was involved with the caution. Chris Dodd's on pit road. I think I just saw Joseph Srigley with damage, and we're looking at the 4 of Daniel Guilbert, who was up near the front in the early stages. Was it Srigley I saw? It looked like a red machine. Yeah, it is Srigley. You see him right there, forefront of your screen. He's got the whole right front of his race car ripped off. Almost shades of Trent Dunham. And we'll see the battle off of pit road here. Who's going to win it? Cittadino looks like he's going to get the spot. He's going to meet Dylan Young off pit lane. So it'll be Cittadino, Young, then Voyles, Galligan, and Baskinger look like they're going to be the top 5 when we go back green. Cittadino will be getting us back underway. We are just past the halfway point of this race as well. Let's see what happened to bring out the caution for the 3rd time here tonight at Springfield. Trouble between teammates in a battle which I believe was for the 18th position. Dougie Shears going to go wide in this corner. Daniel Gilbert's going to drive it in deep. And he just drives it in way too deep. Gets up into the side of his teammate. And the two of them going to go around. There's no safer barrier up there. So you hit it and you hit it hard. There's no grip with the dirt either. It's not going to scrub off any speed. You take that impact. Shears with a lot of damage. Kyle Matthews also involved there in the 0-9. Oh, wow, and then another shot into the driver's side door for Gilbert into Shears. And where is... There's the 21. Not only runs over the debris there, that's the hood of the 4, but then Dougie Shears slides down the track right in front of Joseph Srigley. Now, I believe Kyle Matthews got a lot of damage too. Oh, yeah, that car might be done for the day. He might have already retired. Let's look again from another camera angle here. Not sure how much. Yeah, we'll see a pretty good shot right here. Watch how Gilbert slides down. Nowhere for Matthews to go, and it just rips the whole right front off his race car. That piece of metal was actually sitting down near the apron of turn 2. As we saw the hood of the 4 got run over by Joseph Srigley. So a tough break there from Matthews. Came into this race 3rd in the point standings and was looking to continue what's been a good start to the first half of the regular season, but looks like it'll finish out with a DNF. Unfortunately, he gets out of everybody's way. He nearly got run over by a couple of cars there coming out of turn 2. So a 4-car incident puts us under the caution for the 3rd time here tonight at Springfield. 3 cars will lap to the inside, a lap down. Charles Sanford, Keith Batson, Chris Dodd. Race leader, John Cittadino over Dylan Young, Daniel Voyles, Sean Galligan, Jake Baskinger. Rest of the top 10, Scott Roush, Jessica Shelton, Cody Smart, Tim Walch, and Jordan Lopez out of the race after that incident. All 4 drivers we basically saw involved in that wreck. Dougie Shears, Joseph Srigley, Daniel Gilbert, and Kyle Matthews join Trent Dunham in the garage area. And that's going to be a huge break for Scott Roush, because the points leader is out of this race. 39th is where Srigley will finish out the first half of the regular season here at Springfield. So now Scott Roush just has to finish 23 positions ahead of him, and Scott Roush will be the new points leader heading into the second half of the regular season as a rookie. Charles Sanford appears to be up to speed. I don't know why he had to make that pit stop, but he did. And here's the battle for the lead. Baskinger looking for 2 in a row. He's going to get to the inside of John Cittadino, at least try to, going into turn 3. Sean Galligan right there, almost got into his teammate Cittadino, and here comes Dylan Young. That car's been out in front most of this race. He wants to get back to the front. He'll move into 2nd position, now trying to hound down Jake Baskinger. Get to the left rear quarter panel, shifts his car to the inside. Now can he get the run off the corner is the question. Galligan right there, finished runner-up. The teammate Anthony McCrury back in Atlanta, wants to get his first win of the season. Caution's out again, so it's a drag race between the 2 and the 38 to the line. 4th caution of the night, and Dylan Young looks like he's going to get it at the stripe. Keith Batson crossed the line ahead of him. I think Keith was only 1 lap down. Yes, he was, as was Sanford. They both just got a timely yellow. They're back on the lead lap. Both of them were ahead of the race leader, Dylan Young, when they hit the line there to take this caution. So a big break for the 03 and the 39. They are now back on the tail end of the lead lap, and I don't think you'll see these drivers pitting for the rest of the night. I think they might be good to go now the rest of the way on fuel, so they're not going to want to give up that valuable track position, and as I assumed, nobody coming to pit lane this time. Let's see who was involved with this yellow flag, though. And I'm not really seeing anybody with a lot of damage here near the rear of the field, although, wait a minute. Yeah, there's left side damage on K Shearer. So the Nutella Ruby Tuesday Chevrolet might have actually been the reason for this caution. We'll find out and confirm as we go back and look at a replay. Caution number 4 waves here tonight. 20 laps to go. This one was off turn 4. K Shearer running extremely high off the corner. C Llamas in the middle. D Poteet goes way down low for 3 wide. And it looks like the 48 thought he might be clear on the 80, and he wasn't. Hooks him in the left rear quarter panel, sends him down into D Poteet. So Poteet's got some damage now on the right side of his race car. He might actually go up and pound the outside wall, too. We'll follow that up in just a moment as Kev's car goes sliding. And I don't think anybody hits him, though. I think Kev slid it down to the inside. Everybody stayed up on the top side and were able to avoid him. Gets a little contact there with the pit wall, right rear of his race car. Maybe a little contact with the right front. But for the most part, just a spin for the 80. Oh, and Poteet did spin further up. Let's go back and follow the 31's little slide. Oh, yeah, he had more contact with another car. That was Zachary Fitzwater, the 59. So let's see. Poteet took a little bit more of a ride than Shearer did. So there's the contact between the 80 and the 48. Sends K Shearer down into D Poteet. Poteet, right there, a little bit of contact with the right rear, sends his car up into the outside wall. He comes down across the nose of Zachary Fitzwater. That's going to send his car around. Roof flaps deploy, keeping the car on all 4 wheels and on the racetrack. Right in front of teammate Seth Cole in the 98, who I don't think is going to hit him. He's trying to find a way around him. And Poteet's able to fire the car and continue on. Now, I think the caution may have already been out for these guys, but I'm not 100% certain. So if it was, then Poteet slid across the line in the 25th position and probably would be able to keep that spot. But he's got damage, though. Fitzwater's probably got some nose damage, and K Shearer's got left side damage as well. So a couple of cars with some damage now after that incident. And wow, Manuel Hartnett nearly got run over by Seth Cole right there. But we are under the caution. Ooh, Seth Cole did actually run to the back of Joshua Osborne right there, the 27. But we're under the caution for the 4th time tonight. Let's get ready for a restart. We're going to have less than 20 laps to go when we get back green. And another driver running well in the points with struggles here tonight. Poteet was 4th in the standings coming into this race. K Shearer, who also was involved, was 17th in the standings coming to this one. So Charles Sanford, Keith Batson back on the lead lap. Only lap car that the leaders will have to deal with now is the 8 of Chris Dodd, who is 2 laps down to the leaders. It'll be Dylan Young, Jake Baskinger, Sean Galligan, Jessica Shelton, Daniel Voyles, the top 5. Cittadino faded back to 6th. That's where he'll restart ahead of Cody Smart, Scott Roush, Jordan Lopez, and Tim Walsh. I don't think anybody's out of the race after the incident. Actually, yes, Dylan Poteet is out of the race, 37th, so that's going to hit him hard in the points heading to the second half of the regular season. 36 cars still running, 35 of them on the lead lap, 6 cars in the garage area, and 3 of the notables, drivers that came in 1st, 3rd, and 4th in points, Srigley, Matthews, and Poteet. 17 laps to go as the green flag is back in the air here at Springfield. Dylan Young trying to get away. Baskinger stuck with him, as did Galligan. Baskinger trying to get the run off the corner. Dylan Young trying to hold him off. Top 5 at least, getting around the 8 of Chris Dodd, and maybe we'll settle into a long green flag run to the end. I think these drivers are all good to go on fuel, so I don't think pit stops will be a factor. Battle brewing potentially for 3rd. Shelton closing the gap between her and Galligan. Oh, talk about closing it up. She just ran right into the back of him. And now going to bump and run him for 3rd. Caution's out again, though, so it's going to wind him back up, and we'll probably get another restart with less than 10 to go. Baskinger trying to get the lead here as they come to the start-finish line. Not close enough to make a move. So Dylan Young will be the leader once again in another restart. And how about Jordan Anderson jumped up there, I think, to, 6th place on that last run? Yeah, that 89 was flying on that last restart, as was Holly Davis, who jumped up to 10th. But the caution is out again. 5th time tonight the caution flag waves. And this time it's going to involve the 55 of Shane Lake. A lot of damage on the Advocare Chevy Camaro. That car is smoking. That car is done for the evening. Anthony McCrury, former winner from Atlanta, also involved. A lot of damage on his Paladin's Camaro. That's another driver that was top 10 in the points, 7th in the standings, that encounters some issues here tonight. And the only 2 cars I see with any significant damage were the 55, the 61. They're out of the race now, so 8 drivers in total retired from this event. And as Dylan Young paces us under another caution, let's see what happened. Another incident off turn 4. Shane Lake, I think, was trying to get to the inside of the 22 of J Bryant, but Johnny Gardner also had a run to the inside of him. And the two of them going to make contact. 55 is going to get spun off the nose of the 7, and actually both of them going to hit that wall pretty hard. And then Lake's car slides right back up into traffic. Nowhere for Anthony McCrury in that middle lane to go. Clobbers the 55. Brandon Gonzales also getting a piece of it in the 23. And I think everyone is able to avoid the spinning 55 of Lake. I don't know about the McCrury incident further up, if maybe he got hit by somebody else. Looks like he tried to get his car down to the bottom of the track ASAP. Let's see, there's the hit for Lake and Gardner. Back up into McCrury. I'm pretty certain he got into the 23. The 23, I think, of Gonzales went up into the wall. Yep, right there's the contact. Gonzales scrapes the wall, and then McCrury turns it hard left, right in front of Emmanuel Hartnett to try and get out of the way. He almost door slammed the 27 of Osborne. And you see there the 03 of Sanford sneaking his way through, picking up some spots after getting back on the tail end of the lead lap. But two more drivers involved in this one. Shane Lake, 31st in points, really could ill afford a bad run today. And Anthony McCrury, former winner this season and 7th in points. He's out of this race now too after some pretty extensive contact, clobbering the 55. Well, dependent on when the lights go out atop the pace car will really depend on whether or not we will have a single file or double file restart, meaning whether the lap car of Chris Dodd will line up on the inside line or not. Because if we end up going green with 10 laps to go, then there will be no lap traffic for the leaders to have to deal with. I think the lights just went out. And so I think we will have the lap machine to the inside, because when we restart, there will be 11 laps remaining. So Dylan Young, Baskinger, Shelton, Galligan, Roush, that's your top 5. Anderson, Voyles, Cittadino, Keith, and Holly Davis now makes an appearance up inside of the top 10. But look at what we've got here coming to this race in terms of drivers out of the event that came in top 10 in points. Srigley, the points leader, out. Kyle Matthews, 3rd in points, out. Poteet, 4th in the standings, out. McCrury, 7th in points, out. And Trent Dunham, 9th in the points, out of this race. I think I named off 6 drivers, top 10 in the points coming to this race, out of this event. That is huge. And right now, Scott Roush, running in the 5th position, would stand to be the points leader overall heading into the second half of the regular season as a rookie. Dylan Young trying to hold off 2 former winners from this season. Baskinger, the winner last week in Kentucky. Shelton, the winner from Memphis. Galligan finished runner-up, as we mentioned, to McCrury back in Atlanta. He's 4th. You got Scott Roush there in 5th. What a consistent year he's had to start off his rookie season. Green flag back in the air. 11 laps to go. Will we finish him under green is the question. I think if we end up having a caution within 3 laps to go, if we don't receive the white flag, the race will end under yellow. And believe me, with the racing we've had all through this field, I really don't want that to happen. Dylan Young is gone for the moment, opening up the distance between himself and the 38 of Baskinger. Shelton right there as well in 3rd, and then you've got Kyle Keith fighting his way up into the top 5. He's up to 4th, now looking for 3rd in that 29 car. And he will get it. Anderson was flying through the field. Now Voyles has got the lead foot as he will move into the 5th position, I believe that is. Kyle Keith up to 3rd. Watch out for that 29. He's fast here in the closing stages. That time by just ran his fastest lap of the race. Dylan Young trying to gap himself back to Baskinger, but that might not be the driver he has to worry about. It might be that 29 there of Kyle Keith if he's able to get around the 38. Closing the distance, gets a nice run through the center of 3 and 4, and he's going to probably be on Baskinger's back bumper by the time they get to turn 1. Dylan Young hitting the line, 8 laps to go. Kyle Keith looks to the inside. Baskinger tried to block. Car got loose on him, opens the door. Keith will slide on by for the runner-up spot. now the question is, does Kyle Keith have enough time to chip into Dylan Young's over a second lead? Baskinger back to third. Holly Davis, a great run for that rookie, now up to the fourth position, moving Shelton back to fifth. Another driver fighting his way up to the top 10. How about Cole Baker there in the 18? Just now getting around Jordan Anderson's 89. That was for 8th place. And McCloud also cracking the top 10. He's now looking for 9th. That last time by, Kyle Keith was faster than Dylan Young. Again ran his fastest lap of the race, 27.494. Dylan Young ran a 27.789. So Keith is much faster, and Dylan Young's going to have to deal with traffic. That's the 03 of Charles Sanford. Last car on the lead lap, I believe. Young with a 27.773, Keith with a 7.49. That time he was a little bit slower, as Dylan Young might be getting a little bit of draft off the 03 of Sanford. But when he gets up to him, that's going to slow down his lap time, especially if he tries to make a pass. 5 laps to go here at Springfield. Now Dylan Young to the inside of Sanford. Sanford in 33rd will go a lap down again. Keith trying to run him down. The gap remains roughly about a second from the 2 back to the 29. Meanwhile, you got Baskinger slotted in 3rd place. Then there's about maybe a second and a half back to 4th place where you find rookie Holly Davis, who right now would be the highest running rookie in this race. Battle brewing here for the 5th position, Shelton and Voyles. I think Shelton actually just took the spot away from the 26, so move her back into the top 5. Voyles back to 6th place. And don't look now behind them, you got McCloud trying to reel in these guys. He's trying to get himself a late appearance into the top 5. That time by, the gap increased between Dylan Young and Kyle Keith. Keith, though, had to deal with Sanford. That might have played a factor. He now cuts it back down to about a second again between himself and Dylan Young. 2.5 laps to go, though, for the 2 car. He and Kyle Keith running just about identical lap times. Keith's got to find a little bit more speed, and he's got to find it quick. He's got to be about a half second faster than the 2 to even be close to his back bumper by the time they come to take the checkers. At the line, 2 to go. Dylan Young, the advantage back to Kyle Keith, increased again. That time he increased it by roughly a 1/10 between himself and the 29. So Keith may have used up everything he had there on the beginning of that last restart. Young ran a 27.8, Keith a 27.9. This time by, Dylan Young will see the white flag, and we will race back to the checkers no matter what. Dylan Young trying to be a 2-time winner here at Springfield. That time, the gap remained the same between himself and Kyle Keith. Dylan Young's just got to hit his marks, and he'll get his first win of the season. Dylan Young's already got a win with his team. Levi McIntyre taking the checkers back at Phoenix. Young Motorsports looking for win number 2, and it'll come here tonight. Dylan Young will get his 2nd career win at Springfield, his first win of the season. He'll take the checkered flag tonight at the Springfield Mile. Kyle Keith had a strong race car, but Dylan Young was out in front a good portion of this race, both at the beginning and right here at the end. He was really good on restarts, and no doubt had one of the strongest cars, if not the strongest car of the evening, and takes the checkered flag. So now the big question is, can Dylan Young keep himself in the top 30 in the point standing? So that way this win this year will actually count towards a playoff spot. Remember, 2 seasons ago, Dylan Young made it to the final 4 to compete for the championship. So if he can get himself into the playoffs, you can definitely expect that too is going to be a contender for the championship. Standings are indeed official. Dylan Young, who came 19th into this point standings, into this race, actually gets his first top 10, first top 5, first win of the season. So that's a lot of goals checked off for him this year. And he becomes the 8th different winner to go to victory lane here this season. So officially at this point, half of the playoff positions right now would be filled with previous race winners. Kyle Keith so close. 2nd place, though, Strong outing for the 29. Jake Baskinger follows up his win from Kentucky last week with a third-place run. One of very few drivers that came into this race top 10 the points that has a decent outing here at Springfield. Holly Davis gets Rookie of the Race. She'll finish in 4th. Daniel Voyles, strong outing in 5th. Shelton will get 6th. McCloud battled up to 7th. Scott Roush in 8th. Jordan Anderson 9th. And completing your top 10 was Cole Baker. J Cittadino dropped out of the top 10. He'll finish 11th, though. J Arndt, our Dover winner, in 12th. Joshua Osborne and J Gardner both had very mangled-looking race cars. Both were able to battle back for 13th and 14th, so great runs for both of them. Sean Galligan drifted back in the closing stages to finish 15th. Jordan Lopez was 16th. Emmanuel Hartnett in 17th. Chris Dollerton 18th, 19th. Zachary Fitzwater, and completing your top 20 was Levi McIntyre. Defending winner no longer, R Reynolds 21st, Brandon Gonzales in 22nd. Keith Batson, after getting back on the lead lap, he finishes 23rd. Benny Watson 24th. Pole sitter Dallas McIntosh was 25th. Rest of your top 30 were Seth Cole, K Shearer, Cody Smart, Cody Llamas, and Benjamin Miles. And the last two cars to finish on the lead lap were J Bryant and T Walch. Charles Sanford got back on the lead lap here in this race, but somehow fell a lap down again. I think he might have made a pit stop when we went green, and then we saw him get lapped by Dylan Young. He finished lap down 33rd. Chris Dodd 2 laps down in 34th, and then all these drivers finished out of the race. Anthony McCrury, Shane Lake, Dylan Poteet, Dougie Shears, Joseph Srigley, Daniel Guilbert, Kyle Matthews, and Trent Dunham. 1st, 3rd, 4th, 7th, and 9th in the top 10 in points coming into tonight's event. Srigley 39th. Roush managed to finish in 8th. And that means that Scott Roush will officially be taking over the overall points lead for the Hersheys Cup Series heading into the second half of the regular season after All-Star break. So Dylan Young takes the checkered flag here tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed this race from the Springfield Mile. If you did, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, become part of the crew today. We've shown you full and fishy results. These are your rookie points and your overall point standings heading into, well, 2 weeks from now, really, because next week it's non-points event, the All-Star race. We'll have ourselves our qualifying races with the All-Star Open, and then we will have, of course, the All-Star race, where the only thing on the line is pride and purse. $1 million up for grabs for any one of the drivers that currently have locked themselves into the All-Star race, and any drivers that may qualify their way in via the All-Star Open. After that, though, we will have the Last of Us Light Series, Pizza Hut X Series, and Hersheys Cup Series getting their points-paying races back underway for the second half of the regular season, all at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, capping off that weekend with the running longest race of the season, the Coca-Cola 600. Until then, though, I've been Seth Cole. You've been watching Production of the Race, All-Flame Racing at its best. Dylan Young, his second career win at the Springfield Mile, and first of the season here in the Hersheys Cup Series.